everybody. Welcome to the TechRaptor Podcast. I'm Robert Scarpanito, your features editor.
Andrew Otten, editor-in-chief.
Rutledge Doggett, site founder.
Andrew Stretch, cat editor.
Cat editor, because everyone's been playing Stray. We're going to talk about Stray later in this episode. That was last week, and I had made an explicit promise that was the last time I would bring up Kittens Game in the show.
Good.
So.
I don't want you to hear you talk about it.
So we'll talk about the other Kittens Game later in this episode, and also PowerWash Simulator. But first, let's get into some news. Minecraft isn't going to do NFTs. They're doing the good thing and not putting NFTs in the video game because, quote, we have these rules to ensure that Minecraft remains a community where everyone has access to the same content. NFTs, however, can create models of scarcity and exclusion that conflict with our guidelines and the spirit of Minecraft.
Thank God.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like this is more that Microsoft realized that NFTs are not going to be a thing. Because if they're actually going to be an actual thing people are going to do, they're not turning down all that money.
Right? So a big part of it too is they basically said like you cannot develop anything that's NFT for Minecraft, whether it is an NFT or something on blockchain technology. They're just like, nope, none of it. We don't want any of your scam.
Right. But Otten, you're asserting that if public reception NFTs were better,
absolutely.
They'd be like, yep,
yeah, Minecraft
is
NFTs. A business that makes like $1 trillion. Like they're one of the biggest businesses in the world. Of course, they're going to want to make money. Like, so if NFTs did have good public perception and they were actual, like, okay, this is going to stick around and be a functioning thing within society now of some fashion, like games and otherwise, there's no doubt that they would have tried something. To me, maybe I'm way too fucking cynical and jaded, but I have a hard time believing the benevolence of a big company.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, as much as Microsoft has gotten a lot of good press, around Game Pass and all that.
They're very smart about how they market themselves, yes.
Mm-hmm. Like they're taking a brave stand by saying, we will not put NFTs in our video game, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It is a big deal. I don't want to downplay. It is a big deal because they absolutely could have exploited, younger folk if they wanted to.
Yeah, because I think that's the other aspect too, right? It's like Minecraft is one of the most popular games out there, but specifically with kids. Yep. Kids who do not make their own money. Kids who could very easily be exploited with NFTs, right? Like,
which is the whole point of that platform, and it has been since day one, is just quick money grabs, no concern for anyone else.
NFTs are scams, man.
Yep.
So we're not implementing NFTs at TechRaptor?
No fucking thanks.
Yeah. Another part of this too is that I know Microsoft they say they're concerned about fraud as well, which makes sense. If you followed any NFT news since like the beginning of NFTs being newsworthy, there's a lot of fraud that goes on.
They gotta be worried about some art heists, some heists. People are gonna break in and steal the NFTs.
There's literally a website called Web3 is going just great. And it is just every day there's 2 to 3 new news stories about some scam in the blockchain or under NFT or any of that kind of stuff. And it's funny, we were talking about this before the podcast. The very first article is from today about the NFT that our good friends over at GameStop decided to allow be minted.
Oh, the one with the astronaut? Yeah, that one's really cool. I want one of those.
Yeah.
Because we're going to the moon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's called The Falling Man, which is also a reference to 9/11.
Wait, no fucking way.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
it's the same name and everything.
There's literally a photograph that was taken. Yeah.
Oh my God. This is beautiful. Yeah. This is art.
Yeah. I love that we linked that in our Slack chat or like literally an hour ago from recording, and
I wasn't paying attention. I saw some link to The Falling Man. I'm like, why the fuck are we talking about 9/11? Like, what the fuck? And so I didn't look into it. But that is like, oh, that's pretty awful.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's fucked up.
It's even named the same thing. Like,
it is.
Yeah, but isn't the description just some sort of like description of the NFT? It's not even somber in any way. It's this one probably fell from the MIR station, the Mir station. It's like, really?
God, look at how
And
shitty
it's
this is.
legitimately
No, it didn't.
identical to the photograph taken on 9/11. Like, unreal.
Wow.
Yeah,
Big,
it's
big
going
gamer
for
moves there.
yeah.
Anyway,
It's going for less
GameStop's
than
really
1,000.
healthy, and all you diamond hands out there are gonna get your pay. Don't worry, because
Isn't this like after they closed a bunch more stores and laid off a bunch more
they've
people?
laid off a bunch of people and stuff, but that's a sign of a healthy company.
Right.
They laid off a whole bunch, but it specifically came out that absolutely no one in the NFT department was shifted at all.
Yeah, they
Well, 'cause that's
fired a
the
bunch
future.
of people, our colleagues at Game Informer included.
Yeah, it's sad.
And
Game Informer
then-
is one of the best.
And they launched the NFT platform days after those layoffs.
Yep.
And yeah, it's going great. It's
Well,
going going real great.
They had to get this Falling Man thing out there.
Yeah, it was. They were sitting on gold. They knew it, so they had to.
Right.
Can't just let it burn in their pocket.
Can't just let it sit there.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's just money on the table.
Ryan Cohen's got all your guys' best interests. He's gonna make you rich.
hmm Yeah. So I mean, in light of all of that sort of stuff, I think it's not like that brave of a stance, but it is nice to know that Microsoft is saying we're not dealing with NFTs or the blockchain in one of our biggest games ever.
Yeah. Well, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think Microsoft's fucked with NFTs anywhere on anything.
No. I wouldn't be surprised if they take a stance on just we don't want it on our platform, period.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
Like no Halo Infinite NFTs,
Yes.
no grounded NFTs.
That would be awesome to have such a major player as Microsoft in the technosphere just be like, no, fuck off.
Yeah.
That would really, I think, rattle some people who are thinking about getting into it. Is it like, oh, it'll be great, everyone will be doing it, it'll be the future? And it's like, well, Microsoft, one of the biggest fucking corporations, said no, it's a scam. Hopefully that will shock some wannabe NFT bros out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then
It's so funny on TechRaptor, because Twitter is just filled with NFT bots. If you the listener at home was to pull up your phone and tweet NFTs are shit, you would probably get likes, comments, or retweets from NFT bro accounts that are just set
It's
to
funny.
like screen for the word NFT. So we'll put out articles specifically shitting on NFTs here at TechRaptor, and we will start getting retweets like crazy from different accounts promoting, their own version of the blockchain or whatever.
And we don't get any views from them because all of those accounts are dead. So
Yeah, it's just like it's not real.
they weirdly follow you, and we've had one writer, he'll get like just spammed with DMs of people talking to him about the NFTs.
yes.
Oh, good.
It's just a scourge.
Well, it's funny too. We mentioned if Microsoft took a stance, how big that would be. Steam has taken a stance, but oddly,
Yeah, they have their own NFTs already.
Yeah,
TF2 hats
Well,
and shit.
that's fair. Well, they've taken a stance against blockchain games, and I guess there's one. Joe and Don posted an article about it earlier this week about a third-person MOBA called Fault Elder Orb. It's going free to play, and its economic system includes blockchain technology, which is interesting how it got through if Valve is truly anti-blockchain, while what's his name from Epic Games, the owner, Tim Sweeney. I was going to say Tom. That's completely wrong. Tim Sweeney was tweeting that, we're not going to prevent anyone from utilizing blockchain on the Epic Games platform. So it's kind of interesting to see the different dynamics within the industry and who's willing to shut this kind of stuff down and who isn't.
Wait until Apple comes out with some sleek like art house NFTs. That's what's gonna happen.
Well, they're not going to be sleek anymore because Apple's parted way with Johnny
true.
Ives.
That's true, actually. You're right.
So
They're gonna be all shit.
we might be getting the click wheel back, baby. Lightning compatible click wheel coming to a tablet near you.
Now coming to the Apple VR headset that's still totally on the way.
Oh God, please no.
No, that's probably
Don't
gonna
forget they're
happen.
making a car also.
Yeah. Oh my god, a click wheel. You don't have to turn the steering wheel anymore. You just click wheel to turn left or right. It's just a big click wheel. They used your whole palm to.
Oh my god.
Fantastic.
God, that would be challenging.
Yeah, it would be.
A touch control steering wheel might just be the worst idea I've ever heard.
That's like the death of humanity right there.
Yo.
Look for
gross.
it in a Tesla near you.
For sure. But yeah, I think this whole Microsoft no NFT thing is good, even though it dashes my dreams, of course, of buying a Halo NFT gun that I can then carry over to Minecraft and then grounded, which is such a shame. But of course, like, I guess I'm willing to make these sacrifices for the sake of the world to be a better place and not be an NFT filled nightmare.
And also the fact that it's just not possible.
No, of course, don't say that. You're ruining my dreams, Rhett.
I'm sorry.
My hopes and dreams.
To you and our one listener that cares about NFTs.
Thank you. Speaking of dreams that are misguided, Platinum Games is gonna hire 1,000 more people across a bunch of games that they're working on.
Scalebound will come out eventually.
No, then Microsoft will release that as an NFT.
Sure.
Sure.
Before we move on, I do want to say there has been talks about one of their next projects being with Xbox. If they bring Scalebound back, I'm going to be so excited. That game looked good.
I can't imagine. I still don't understand why that was canceled.
Probably
Apparently
some interpolitical something. Sure, weird corporate nonsense.
Both sides were very amicable at the time as to the way that it went down. Like, no one was particularly like quiet or aggressive at all. Everyone was just like, hey, like it was going really well and it just, it didn't pan out, and then just move on. It's like, okay, then that's a bit weird. Like I almost want the Twitter flame war to figure out what happened, but it may be coming back.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder what did happen there, because I feel like Platinum recently, I guess in the past like 5-6 years, they've been kind of on an up and down trajectory, right? Like some of their games are like really good, like Bayonetta. Like I expect Bayonetta 3 to be really fun, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But then they come out with stuff like Babylon's Fall.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, like it almost, when you think about that, makes you wonder, like, did Scalebound just play well in trailers, but then there was something behind the scenes where maybe it didn't actually play well, Well,
I think, lucky for Platinum is that I think that all of their games play well. I mean, not that they normally stray too far from their like core combat style. That there must have been something more happening in the scope with like getting the dragon to work properly, or evolutions and this and that.
Yeah, it could have just been scope creep, and there was
Yeah,
a
this
worry
was
that it wouldn't get to the finish line.
Back then, it was a different Xbox Studios too, in terms of how they approach stuff.
right.
So who knows?
Probably a little more ruthless back then.
Is there a way that we can have the dragon watching NFL using Cortana? Is that possible? Can we do that? The dark days of Xbox.
Those are creative differences,
can your
right?
character whip out a Surface Pro and use that?
See, it's funny you say feature creep though, right? Because I'm looking at this like headline. They want to hire 1,000 more people.
Well, is it 1,000 more or get up to over 1,000?
Or
that's what I'm trying to
expand
figure out.
its workforce to more than 1,000.
So what if they're at like 850 right now, and you're like, oh.
That's true. Yeah.
they're like 975.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, this is easy.
Yeah. Okay. So they want to expand to be over 1,000 employees.
Yeah, it's a milestone.
It's a lot of people. It's a big company.
Yeah.
As long as it's not adding 1,000 employees, because then you get a whole nother Telltale scenario.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because they are working on multiple games. It's not just like the one or two, right? Like, I know they still have some sort of crew keeping up with Babylon's Fall, right? And then Bayonetta 3, obviously. Yeah, I know. The final polishing, finishing touches or whatever they need to do on Bayonetta 3 before it comes out in October.
It's wild.
Yeah, and then there's like that Project GG thing, and I think they announced like some other game back in February, if I remember right. Like, or like they're working on a project.
Maybe.
Yeah.
That might be the one that is rumored to be in production with Xbox.
It's funny, just taking a look, because I was curious. If you look at Platinum games that come out, the ones that people are like, hey, this is pretty good, there's a common thread between them.
Hideki Kamiya?
Is it just
yes, it's Kamiya.
Yep.
It's Kamiya.
It's Kamiya, yeah.
The ones that don't have
100%.
Kamiya on it are like, oh, this is the bad one.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because he's like the guy. He's the Bayonetta guy.
Also,
I think he worked in
nobody,
DMC, right?
Yeah. If nobody follows his Twitter, it might be the greatest on all of Twitter.
It's pretty good.
He's pretty fantastic.
Yeah. And didn't he also do Wonderful 101? Was that him as well?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So just if you put him on everything, then
That's right. They need to
You got a
take
good
the
game.
Square Enix approach. Like they just
That's
suck
like
Nomura dry.
that BS of like a fortune teller telling you that you'll find the love of your life if you wear red shoes, and then you wear red shoes for the rest of your life. Well, Kamiya does a good job, so let's just give him everything.
Yeah.
Let's get him nice and burnt out.
That's literally what Square Enix does with Nomura.
It's true.
Okay, listen, you.
I mean, that is exactly what happens.
Yeah.
That
they
man
put him
is
on, like,
riding
everything.
in elevators all day
Yeah.
long, every day.
I mean,
What we actually don't realize is that Nomura has jumped between world lines, and so the Nomura that we know is actually 4 different Nomuras.
okay. I thought you were going to
They're
say
just,
he
like,
was
constantly
dead, but a
rotating
collective consciousness now. There isn't Nomura's not a person; it's just an idea.
Okay, so I thought a third direction you were going to say that Hideki Kamiya is Nomura from another world line.
Oh god. It's like every video game savant is just like the same person.
Is this the plot of Kingdom Hearts?
Yeah,
You
we're
know,
getting close to it.
Who's the,
We getting there?
Yep.
I still don't
Is this-
understand it.
Is this what Kojima's book, The Creative Gene, is about?
Yeah, it's like yin and yang. Nomura's one side, Kojima's the other side. Those are the two dualities of this being.
No, they horseshoe. They horseshoe into batshit crazy at the bottom.
Well, Japan isn't the only country that has good game developers. We have a few here in America, like John Romero. You might remember him from working on Doom. And he also worked on Daikatana.
Haven't heard of it.
Daikatana, very good game.
Yeah. That's for your boomer gamers out there to get that joke.
Your boomer shooter
apparently,
gamers?
The people who read our site are also that, because we made the Daikatana joke in our news piece about how John Romero is working on a new first-person shooter on Unreal 5.
I'm so tired of hearing about Unreal 5. Can it be here yet?
God, I know. So because it's so everything you see, all the tech demos have been so mind blowing. I can't wait to get our full Unreal 5 game.
It's just like I feel like that mesh didn't line up correct with the dawn of a new generation of consoles. Mm-hmm. So now I'm just like playing all of these games, and the tech demos are gorgeous, and like an FPS on Unreal 5 manned by John Romero. That's going to be one of the greatest, most horrific looking, smoothest, fastest, funnest boomer shooter.
Yeah, 600 frames per second.
And that's when it's running slow. Crank this
It'd
all
be
the way up
interesting.
to 11.
When's the last time he made like a cutting edge in terms of graphical design thing? Because I know he's done a bunch of small stuff.
Yeah, I mean, he worked on that Empire of...
He did the Empire of Sin.
That's it, yeah.
But that wasn't a shooter.
But that was like a RTS, or no, it's a turn-based
It was like
sort
a
of thing,
tactical thing, I thought.
Yeah. But no, I can't think of the last time he made something like, Doom back then.
Yeah.
I mean, Sigil, I guess, but Sigil is very boomer shooter.
That's what I mean,
right?
yeah. So I'm trying to think of something
there.
that's a more modern kind of take on something. Or at least modern
Did he work-
looking. Doesn't mean that's
he work on Rage?
I have no idea. maybe.
That really brown looking id
Yeah.
game before they made the new Doom.
The game that people might only remember because it showed up in Breaking Bad.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, Jesse played it before it came out on his TV.
Wow.
Doesn't look like he worked on Rage.
Yeah, I mean, this is possibly going to be the first, high cutting edge graphics looking thing that he's made in a long time.
Long time.
Well, I mean, we're just assuming. I mean, it's Unreal 5, but I mean, he could totally just make something pixely.
he's using Unreal
OG Doom graphics,
Yeah.
but running
Yeah,
in
just-
Unreal 5.
Just under the hood, it runs really well.
It's Doom with ray tracing. That's all.
RTX
I know-
on, RTX off.
The original Rage game had some fantastic Easter eggs for the original Doom. There's like certain locations you could find. Like you just walk up to a completely standard looking wall and like hit a secret button somewhere, and a door would slide up and it would be the first level of the first Doom, like fully done in the original style and everything. Just with a completely new character.
I mean, I feel like id does that a lot, right? Like, didn't they do that in Doom 2016 too, right? Like, there were secret doors that would bring you to classic Doom levels.
Just like love Easter eggs like that.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see what Romero works on next, because it's kind of going back to his roots again, right? Of like shooter but like this is going to be a big budget thing, maybe. We are just guessing, but I mean, there's just something about when you attach Unreal 5 to it, it feels like there's going to be a much bigger deal to this, right? And it will be released with a major publisher. We just don't know who.
Yeah.
Bethesda.
Yeah,
Or
it's just
Epic themselves.
Games.
just interesting with the guy that might be the most influential in terms of developing the FPS genre, coming back to it.
Yeah.
30 years later.
Yep. Which, if you haven't read the book Masters of Doom, it's a very good read.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
obviously not perfect in terms of the history, but it is a very kind of interesting story from start to finish.
And Sigil was a shooter, if I remember right? And hasn't Romero also worked on like some Doom wads?
Yeah, like he hasn't
Recently,
totally stepped away. He's been doing stuff forever, but it's usually
He
small
just hasn't
stuff
done any
here
massive.
and there. Yeah, so it'll be interesting if he's got some big idea what that will be.
Yeah. I mean, it'll definitely be something worth keeping an eye on, right? Like seeing how it goes from here. Because as far as I'm aware, it's hard to say he's made a bad game aside from Daikatana, right?
I mean, he's got a huge list of what he's made over the years.
Yeah.
Just a huge list of, and not necessarily like lead on, but helping with engine tools, programming, stuff like that. So definitely interested to see him on what is going to be the most modern development platform.
Right.
Like what he's planning and what he's going to do. Because, yeah.
Yeah. Because it's easy to forget that, like, I mean, he is essentially video game royalty. And when you think about, like, people who've been in the game for a long time, I feel like it's really easy to come up with a list of Japanese devs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right?
that's true.
But then, anyone who's not Japanese, I feel like that's a much shorter list.
It's a lot harder to come up with it.
You've got, like, Todd Howard.
Cliffy B.
But
you got lots
Cliffy
of
B. Well, but
all
he's
the
out
old
now.
Origin Systems people that were
Yeah.
around, Ultima and all that. And
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
Gary.
Richard, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe it's more that a lot of these Japanese devs have persisted, whereas a number of Western
I think
devs
that's
have
a good
moved
point.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah,
different
and-
culture between the two as well.
For sure. I think that's a wrap on news for this week. Let's jump into some games. Rut, do you want to tell us about PowerWash Simulator?
Yes. So I took Monday off. It was my birthday, and I didn't want to do anything, so I power washed houses for 8 straight hours.
Right, but what did you do when you got home and wanted to play games?
Same thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, it's I didn't know what to expect. It's on Game Pass, so I was like, I'll give it a try. Like, sounds like it could be pretty chill. And then like 4 hours passed, and I had been through like 4 or 5 levels. It's just like you're just blasting dirt away, and watching things get clean. And there's just something very cathartic about it, where you're like, okay, I started here. All of this stuff was filthy, and you're like, it's immaculate now. So and you can go about it kind of any way you want. And yeah, I don't know. I just kind of like lost hours without realizing it. So.
Can I ask, how simulator-y is it? Because I remember like lawn mowing sim was like a thing. People were like, oh, you got to check out lawn mowing sim. And I booted it up, and it gets as intense as like, you need to have your blades either at the specific inches above the ground, or else the client won't like it. Does it get that intricate?
It doesn't get that intense. Like you can, so in career mode, you can complete jobs to get money. And then with that money, you can get like more powerful power washers, different nozzles, different like soaps and stuff, but you're not timed. And you can just like, you can be midway through a level, like power washing something, and just leave, and it remembers your progress. And then when you finished it, like 100%ed everything, and it'll tell you like, this is what's remaining. Or if you hover over something, it'll tell you like how much is left to be cleaned. When you finish, it'll play a video from start to finish of you going around like in very fast speed, and it's kind of cool to see like, okay, I started here, this
time lapse.
Yeah. Yeah. And whether you've like saved and come back a couple days later or whatever, it still keeps that like footage, which I thought was kind of neat. It wasn't like session based. It's like, okay, you did this, here's the whole progress. So that was pretty cool.
Nice. So you've been playing it on Xbox or PC?
PC on Games Pass. So it's on Games Pass. It's on Steam. If you're looking for something just kind of chill to like put a movie in the background or just listen to music, definitely Power Wash.
Can you?
I played it as well. I had the reverse experience. In that I got to like the second level that was like a backyard, and I would go through and like feel like I did a really good job of like, you know, washing the fence of this house, and then you can click a button that will like have all of the dirt like highlight, and everywhere that I had just been over, I'd even like focus down to the more powerful, smaller width nozzle, and I would look back and there would just be spots of dirt everywhere. And it was like, if I had like come away from this experience of like meticulously moving the blaster like down and up and down and up, and I looked back and I just saw like a wall of dirt and a wall of clean, that would have been satisfying. But the fact that like I went through, I took my time, I did what I thought was the right thing to do, and there was still just like spatters of dirt everywhere. I was just like, nah, fuck this. I closed it down. I just moved on. It's like, that was not satisfying.
Oh no.
I did not have any of that problem.
Did you pick the right soap? Was your nozzle width the correct width? Were your blades correct number of inches off the ground? To be honest,
I don't even buy the soaps. And there's really no major difference. I think like if you buy them, you can clean things a little faster, a little better, but it's
still going to be clean.
I just go in lines, and it's just super satisfying for me.
So as a gamer, soap is not important. Is what you're...
That's perfect.
That seems to be a wide-held belief.
Yeah. Okay. So in our Slack, you just posted the fucking Danny DeVito setting my plastic.
That's all I could think about.
So that's what I thought too when Rut was like, yeah, I just love blasting the dirt away.
So anyway, I started blasting.
I'm sitting here thinking about this game. Like, can you imagine telling somebody years ago, be like, all right, I'm playing a game about this job, this work. That I'm just doing this work, this fake work to pass my time. And they're like, I don't have money to eat. And you're like, well, I'm going to clean this house in a virtual world. Peace.
Well, we're just getting ready for the metaverse.
Yeah.
You know?
Tell you what, that's where blockchain will make sense. You show up to a house, you power washing simulator it, and then you lawnmower simulate that house, and then you do like the house renovation simulator, and then I don't know, you find some real estate trading simulator game.
House flipper.
That would be where it all makes sense, is to allow all three different like aspects of the game to like merge together on a single like house file.
Right. And then when you're done, you get your keys, put on your shoes and boots, and you get out there to do your Euro Truck Simulator driving, because you're driving cargo from one place to the other.
Beautiful. And then there's some simulator if you unloading the cargo into the warehouse.
Right.
And it's like,
There's got to be like a warehouse simulator, right?
There's car mechanics.
There's car mechanic simulator. There's gas station simulator, like
PC building sim.
PC building sim.
There's farming sim esports.
That is true.
Yes. Yeah.
right.
People are crazy with these simulators.
There's even a goat simulator.
That one's fun. I've 100% completed that one.
Not very
But are you
realistic.
getting Goat Simulator 3?
Don't rip that Band-Aid off
finished
again.
2 yet.
No, I did the Goats MMO and Goat Zombie Simulator. I didn't get the Space DLC. I know that there's the new one coming out. I also played a little bit of that Deer Simulator game. But that's just another stupid one. Like, you're a deer walking along, and it's like, oh, press right trigger to run, and you expect the deer to just like go faster. The deer gets up on its hind legs and starts like full Iron Man sprinting with like a dust trail behind his feet.
That's how deer normally.
That's exactly how they run.
Can you like kill the deer?
Part of it is avoiding hunters.
No.
No, it's like set in a city. It's very Goat Sim-esque.
Well, so while you're playing Deer Simulator, someone else is over there playing Big Game Hunt thing, like one of those hunting sims. So it's like it's a online PvP experience. You know,
It all comes back to the metaverse.
exactly. Well, Stretch, it seems like you've been playing a lot of animal-based simulation type games.
I have, surprisingly. So I wasn't able to talk about it last week, but I got access to Stray, which is now out free on PlayStation Plus Essential. Extra?
It's extra.
Whatever it is.
Extra and Premium. Not Essential. I hate the naming convention. I've been playing Stray on my PS5. That is a really fantastic game. Definitely there's a whole bunch that none of the promotional material let on to, that I'm really glad that they didn't. So, I'm not going to go full of spoilers or anything. It's a really fun game. It's got a really cool story about, a future world where humans have died out and robots are living in a city, that is like under a dome, protected
Probably
from
for
the
the
elements.
Isn't that a Stephen King book?
Under the Dome.
Yeah, it's a similar concept, but like imagine that all humans died out, the robots kept living, but the robots like never left the dome again. And you're just a cat that falls into that world and finds a little robot drone buddy. There's some really fantastic, like very cat-centric elements to it. I own 3 cats. The first time I loaded up the game and started spamming the dedicated meow button, I had all 3 cats like looking at the TV, coming up close to the TV, standing on the entertainment console, and just like dead ass, like 2 inches from the screen, trying to stare down the digital cat. But it's really fun
like
game.
half of Twitter over the last week is people sharing videos of their cats.
Been loving this. I was like messaging my sister in Australia, who's like not a gamer at all, and I brought up, because she and I swapped photos of our cats, as you were going to do as a cat owner. And I brought up, that I was playing Stray and sent the photos, and even she had said like, oh, I've been seeing videos of this game everywhere. It looks really cute.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it is very cute. And I played maybe only an hour. So I only just got the robot companion. So barely even dipped my paws into it. But I love how much there's just... every one of you just like, fuck this guy. So I love how there's just
I'm
a lot
proud
of...
you.
Thank you. There's a lot of cat stuff that just doesn't fucking matter. Like every carpet I've come across, you can just scratch at it.
Yeah.
It doesn't do anything as far as I'm aware. Like there's
a trophy if you scratch something in every chapter of the game.
Yeah, so it does nothing important. So
No.
Trophies and achievements are just early days NFTs. That's all they are.
Yeah, exactly. Or you can like push stuff off the edge of rooftops or tables, and it's like that. I mean, some cases matters, but you know, it's just so everything you think about, like when you own a cat or see cats being playful, this game just has that.
Yep. It's a fantastic, fun little game. It's probably only like a 5 or 6 hour experience. And I think in Europe they just launched like a get PlayStation Plus Essentials for free 7-day trial kind of thing. So it's definitely a reason to check out the subscription.
Does it get a photo mode later or no?
No, there is no photo mode.
I was very surprised about that.
A big miss.
Right?
That's not even something that I thought about. Yeah.
Yeah, because I was like, I wanted to send pictures of the game to people, but I was like, the camera is a little like hard to get a good close up of the cat. Yeah. So
yeah, when I was messing with my cats, because I have quite a large TV compared to my cats. I was spending time trying to like back the camera into a corner and then have the cat walk up, so I'd have like a 40-inch across cat head looking down and then just spamming that meow button.
That's one of the funniest sentences I've ever heard. I have a pretty large TV in relation to the size of my cats. It's like, what?
We're no longer measuring in inches. We're measuring in cats.
Is your TV 2 cats long, 3 cats long?
It's we measure diagonally.
Yeah,
probably 3 or 4 cats long.
Yeah, Stray so far is very cute. Like it's just like, even if I don't know if a lot of people are gonna finish it, but I think there's just so much power that it has, and like being so shareable, and everyone just wants to see the cat on Plus. Like, it's great.
Yeah, that's also a cool thing, is like they're getting so much free marketing, free advertising, which is great. This is like Annapurna's biggest hit at this point. There's, it's just like incredible how much support, like how many people have been playing this, even on Steam where it is not free. It like tripled the launch day numbers of their next biggest game, which is so cool to see, and it will allow Annapurna to keep making their quirky little games that they love to make and that people love to play and share.
So have they atoned for their sins?
From
12 minutes?
Yeah, from 12 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, they publish. Sometimes you got to take the bads with the goods.
Well, this cat isn't like a product. of
sometimes
incest,
you got to take the sisters with the wives.
You do. Yeah, well, I mean, because Annapurna just publishes; they don't develop all these games. So.
This is correct.
Yeah,
but you're telling me this cat is not,
Are we spoiling 12 minutes? Are you trying to say this cat is incestuous?
Yeah, it's not an incestuous child, is it?
There is no cat incest.
So can you say that like definitively, or they just don't say?
I can say that definitively.
They go over the origin of the cat?
Where the fuck are we going with this?
I'm just going to say yes so that we can move along from this topic.
This is so uncomfortable.
Uncomfortable? Hey, you gotta have real conversations.
This is Otten's piping in to have a conversation between bouts of Zootopia porn.
How dare you?
If you're into Zootopia porn, Ott and I have a game for you. It's called Rune Factory 5, because there are definitely some yiffy porn, furry type shit in that. It's a farming sim, but you're human, but there's a lot of like Wolfman or like kind of kitty girl things going on in it that you can.
My name
them.
is Andrew. Please.
Isn't that just a game made in Japan?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay,
Mhm.
I've played those.
Yeah.
I've played some of those.
You played a game made in Japan before,
a couple of them.
like Dynasty Warriors 4.
That one, and like Mario. So is it like Mario?
It's a lot like Mario in that it's not.
But he wears a cat suit.
He does, yeah. No, Rune Factory 5 is the sequel to, Rune Factory 4 came out like 8 years ago now on the 3DS. Like, it's kind of an older game. I did not expect Rune Factory 5 to come out, but then it did like a few months ago on Switch, and now it's out on Steam, which is where I've been playing it because I've heard on the Switch it doesn't run very well. But it's your typical, like, if you like Stardew Valley, this is in that same vein of like you farm and then you go mining and then you fight monsters and you befriend the villagers and you give them gifts and eventually marry one of them. And there's always like fun little storylines with all the characters. Like it's of that ilk, and I think it does it fairly well, but it doesn't do anything groundbreaking. So as someone who really enjoyed Rune Factory in the past, this is just nice to play it in modern, like it's a modern new version of it, but it's still the same stuff for the most part.
They haven't messed with the formula. It's the game that you like with modern day accommodations.
Mm-hmm. Modern day accommodations, but also one thing that's really fucking annoying is your character, when you pick up something, your character has to say something like, all right, this will come in handy. It's very much, then you pick up a lot of shit in the game. So it's very much the Donald Duck. Yeah, it's the Donald Duck, like, this is a good place to find ingredients sort of shit all over again, because your dude just spams, like, all right. Like, it's just, can you shut up, please? I picked up a rock. I don't.
Can you turn down voice volumes?
I mean, probably. I haven't checked on that, because I imagine that might turn down everyone else's volumes too. Like all the other characters.
Just go into the game files and delete all of those audio files.
I have thought about it. I actually have thought about diving into the game files because I've been playing it on the Steam Deck, and it's actually not very Steam Deck compatible. So this is my first time trying to wade into those waters. And I've looked up some forum posts, and there are people who are like, oh yeah, if you just kind of like go into Linux on your Steam Deck and like go into the files, et cetera, you can do this, and that, which I haven't done yet. But it would do stuff like it couldn't play any FMVs, so no cutscenes would play. It would just show like the color bars. Like it wouldn't render any video, which was interesting. And all of the like tooltips are like keyboard mouse controls instead of like ABXY. Yeah, so it's been interesting, kind of like seeing the Steam Deck kind of raw force its way through and like still kind of override some of the weird compatibilities that or compatibility issues that Proton has with some games. But I mean, aside from those like technical issues, Rune Factory's been a lot of fun. Just kind of chill, zone out, farm some turnips.
I did try to look up to see whether someone had made a mod to remove those voices. There is a mod for less compressed textures that you'd probably want to use, especially if it is a Switch game that has come to Steam and you're playing it on a Steam Deck. I'm gonna guess that it's gonna be powerful enough to deal with some less compressed textures. So give that a check out on Nexus Mods. Maybe,
because get this shit. Last time I played Rune Factory was on a 3DS, and now I'm playing Rune Factory on a Switch or on a Steam Deck. Doesn't look that much different, which is saying a lot.
Oh no.
I mean, the character models are more high res and detailed, but
Yeah.
there's still some. It's very cartoony, so I think it gets away with like not being the most realistic looking graphics or whatever. But it definitely just seems like a game from a previous generation, you know. Mm-hmm.
So
That's,
Rune Factory 5 is not on Unreal Engine 5, is what you're saying.
It is not. It is on whatever engine Marvelous is using.
Bummer.
Yeah, but it's very weeby farm type stuff. If that's your vibe, it's out on Switch. It's also now out on Steam. So
We got all kinds of
Feel free
the
to check it
weeb
out.
farmers are eating good soon lately. We got Harvestella coming or whatever.
yeah,
Mhm.
I am excited for Harvestella. That looks pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm pretty
There's been
pumped
a-
for that one.
There's been a lot of like big farming, crafting sims coming out and stuff. I guess it's just, development.
That's the genre of
has,
choice right now.
Yeah, has veered that way.
Mhm.
What 2008 was like the year of the zombies, and now we've got the year of the harvest.
Yeah,
Battle royales.
well, it was
MOBAs.
battle royales. Now into that. Wait, what if there's a battle royale farming sim? You think they could make that work?
I'm sure they could.
Probably.
I mean, technically that was Fortnite.
sure.
Is there
You
any
would-
farming?
You would. Well, I
Or
mean,
just building?
you would hit shit to get resources and then build
Oh.
things. So
I have some things to say about Fortnite.
Oh,
reminds me.
goody.
So
we now go live on the scene to Andrew Otton, who just remembered something.
So I feel like it's the first time I've ever felt like, oh my god, and you guys are gonna laugh because of what I say normally, but I've really felt like, wow, I'm like in the older generation now of stuff.
You're a boomer.
Yeah, because I was watching some clips of I've never played Fortnite, which has got to be I've got to be one of the like two people that play games that not played it.
Yeah, I'm the other one. Yeah.
And I was watching some clips of it. It's so fucking batshit. Just the stuff that happens in that. Like it's wild because when I think of it, it's always it's just another battle royale thing, right? Not like there's fucking just a shark will fly out of nowhere and will eat you, and it's like what people are driving big ass fucking buses to run people over, and there's just insane shit going on in the world all the time. It's wild. And like all the crazy,
yeah, it started pretty normal,
the crazy
and then
skins
it got out of
that are out
hand.
there. It is. If people think about multiverse, they're the first ones that are doing it. I've
Yep.
always thought that they've
Okay.
done really cool shit development wise, but I didn't realize just how nuts it's gotten.
They are the closest thing that we have to Ready Player One.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Okay, I didn't realize this was gonna I thought you were gonna bring up some extra weird shit Fortnite does.
Oh.
I didn't realize this would be like Boomer discovers
Yeah.
Fortnite.
No. So it was like,
Is what
yeah,
this
exactly.
is.
Because like I knew what it was, and I thought I knew there was they've got all kinds of licensed skins, like a shit ton of them, from all the biggest
Right.
stuff. I knew all that. I just didn't realize that because I don't know. I guess I always thought of it as a pretty competitive thing, but really it seems to be people just going and fuck around. And there are also obviously people that are competitive and want to get there to win and all that shit. But like, there's so much just nonsense happening. I'm glad that exists.
It definitely started off like in that competitive
Oh, I
sphere,
know.
and
Yeah,
then they were
it
like,
was big.
Yeah.
"Oh, we can do some crazy shit now. Let's literally break the world."
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Or let's create a Martin Luther King Jr. experience in
Yeah.
Fortnite.
Oh yeah, I forgot about
Remember
that.
that thing?
You know, you gotta, when you take some swings, there's going to be some misses.
yeah.
That was a big miss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's
Yeah.
just, I think that in general, though, I think that a lot of the legacy media stuff for games is not good at covering stuff like that, like Fortnite. Like they'll cover the big updates and whatever, but in terms of like what actually is going on within the game, I don't think it's covered all that well. And it's just it's an interesting thing to think about. It's something that's insanely popular, obviously, and I don't know if they get enough credit for the unique kind of stuff that they've been doing development wise and creatively. It's just they do some neat stuff. I mean, heck, they were part of a plot point in the Rise of Skywalker,
Yeah.
so they're
Much to
big in
everyone's
Star Wars.
chagrin.
So anyway, it was a realization of like I thought it was more of a serious shooter when it's just become this. I'm sure there must be a mode in there where it's just like we just want to do the shooting, blah blah blah, whatever. A regular old battle.
Yeah, it's
royale.
called
No build mode.
Fortnite. Well, didn't Fortnite start as like some cookie cutter basic ass? You build a fort and fight zombies.
It was going to be like a survival
it
thing.
started as
World.
tower defense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That was
It was
Fortnite Save the World.
Yeah.
And then they saw the popularity of PUBG, and they were like, "Yeah, let's do a battle royale." And at the time, I was like super into PUBG. And I was like, "This is stupid.
And
They're not
they
going to do
ripped
anything
it
good."
completely.
Yeah, and then we quit playing PUBG for it. So,
Yeah, I mean, PUBG just didn't keep up.
It's still
the
pretty
big difference,
popular,
I think, still pretty popular. I think the big difference between PUBG and a lot of newer battle royales is it's not 45 to 1 hour matches.
Yeah.
45 minute to 1 hour matches. Like it's you're in, you're out in 10 to 15 minutes, and you're on to the next match. Whereas PUBG's like a lot of setup with very little reward.
Yeah, it's a lot of setup to get shot in the back of the head by someone you didn't see.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I thought there's got to be different modes and stuff in Fortnite because there's like they had the Thanos thing when Infinity War was
they've
out.
had modes. They usually called them limited time modes. So they would you would have your standard 100 people in the match, and then they would do like an LTM that's like 50v50. And so you have these giant forts of people just firing rockets and shit at each other. And they had a lot of other like just smaller ones where they were like, "Oh, this would be a cool dumb thing to let people play for a week."
Yeah, like fighting Darth Vader.
Yeah,
and getting his lightsaber.
Well, yeah, they had like Sith versus Jedi at one point, and it was. They've done some interesting stuff to start with, like the platform.
It's just I don't think I've spent enough time thinking about it because it's always like, oh, Fortnite's Fortnite, right? I don't play it. Yeah. I generally know what it is, and. It's just seeing their updates is what they do, and like I don't know, they seem to be the smartest in terms of like pursuing these neat ideas that somehow fit the game. Weirdly,
well, they do they do these live events too, like legit like concerts with like Marshmello and
didn't they do some didn't they watch Inception once before Tenet came out and stuff like that? So it's
big Travis Scott event.
Yeah, so I mean, if they do some neat stuff that nobody's really doing, I can't think of anybody that's in that similar realm in any way.
Well, because Fortnite just has the reach too.
Yeah,
right?
that's part of it.
You're not gonna see you don't really see any other game do we're gonna market Thanos and then also Darth Vader for Star Wars.
It's just
imagine that in Apex. That's just not gonna happen.
There's something that made me think that it's one. I think Fortnite weirdly overlooked because I mean, we're in that older gamer not real. There's people that are much older than us that play been around games since the beginning, but it's definitely the generation after us that's the Fortnite generation in a way. So I think it's easy to overlook it. And I think most people that cover games are our age that aren't like YouTubers and Twitch streamers. So it's easy to not remember. But I don't know. Just made me think about it. It's really neat what they're doing.
Well, I'm glad you've discovered this hidden indie
Not
gem.
that I've discovered. I just thought about it.
Hey, Grandpa's reminiscing about the good old days.
Good old days.
Wait till I tell you about Witcher 3. It's this other indie gem that also very criminally overlooked.
Anyway, I had a sincere moment,
day,
so
we
fuck
had
you guys.
Dynasty Warriors 4 and we liked it. Sometimes a fighting game got Link. Or maybe Spawn.
You know what? I just won't. I won't bring up stuff ever again. If this is how you guys are going to be.
That's going to be a bad podcast.
That's just how you guys are going to be. Just never. Nope.
We should play Fortnite. All four of us. You should.
Nope.
Squad up.
That game's stupid.
Border dropping, boys.
Apparently, I don't need to talk about it's dumb.
Okay, well, you can sit back and relax because
welcome to the TechRaptor Podcast, where we go out of our way to upset Otten.
you two want to talk about the Netflix Resident Evil show for some reason
because it is good.
That'll
be the first thing that I say.
All right, yeah.
No, it's okay. So first two episodes rough, I guess.
Before we get into it, spoilers as a heads up. If you do care for some reason, these two are going to spoil Resident Evil on Netflix, starting now.
So
Go for it.
the first 2 episodes, it's rough. It takes some time to get into it. They have the character Billy that they introduce while a Billie Eilish song is playing, super on the nose. That first episode has the Zootopia porn joke. That's a bit weird. I don't know why in what that portion of the show is set in 2024. I don't know why in 2024 you'd be making a joke about furry porn from a late 2010s movie.
Well, they're working on Zootopia Plus, so
Oh, that's true. Yeah, it would be back in the minds, in the psyche of the generation next.
Mhm.
After those first 2 episodes, though, it starts picking up hard. I was overall less interested in the post-apocalyptic future storyline until like the final episode. But the stuff that they had going on in the present day, all of the tense moments with Albert Wesker and the girls and the bite and the discovering of, how Umbrella covered up the Raccoon City incident by saying, oh, it was a gas leak and whole bunch of people died and there was maybe an explosion. It's like, no, they nuked that motherfucker.
Yeah.
But they do start getting more and more into what makes classic Resident Evil good, with the suspenseful movements, the classic throwbacks, like the zombie dogs. And one thing that I really appreciated was that they tried to fit in a sizable amount of like the old Resident Evil puzzle solving as well. Like a clue that leads to another clue that leads to another clue, and now there's the basement.
Yeah.
The kind of stuff that you would get in Resident Evil 1 and 2 and 0. And more recently they've kind of brought back that puzzle aspect of it as well. But they really do end up like finding their groove and getting into a really good pacing with everything, even in the future storyline. Cliffhanger ends with a fucking banger. Has me very excited. Hopefully they'll greenlight a season 2. But I was saying the same thing about Cowboy Bebop on Netflix.
So
things are
you
not boding
enjoyed-
well.
And
You
I
enjoyed
also
that
plan
too.
to be hoping the same thing about the One Piece Netflix series.
Mm.
Yeah, so
I mean, I gotta
this
say,
guy
too-
like Cowboy Bebop, just people that are listening about Resident Evil, just so you know.
Yeah. The live,
The live
action
action
one.
one.
Hey, Auden.
Yeah.
I like you too.
Yeah, that says a lot about you. You idiot. You should have made this judgment a long time ago.
But I gotta say too, Lance Reddick stole the show.
Oh,
Like-
yeah.
Just the different levels of like personality that he showed in just a number of different scenes, like where he had to come in for like the parent teacher
The parent
thing,
teacher
just
interview was
unhinged, and that
amazing.
was so good. Where he's just like, he just looks at the guy and he's like, "Do you know who I am?" And the guy works for Umbrella too, and he's like, "Well, yeah." And then it slowly dawned on the guy. He's like, "Oh fuck." He's like, "Do you want to keep your job?" He's like, "I can replace you in a minute." And it's just like, it's the most savage thing that could have happened in that scenario, where it's two parents like bickering over one child beating the shit out of another. And he showed it there, and then there's like these other glimpses of just incredible acting on his part.
Incredible acting,
That I always look
incredible
forward to
power.
scenes with him in it.
So he's
Which isn't surprising. He's phenomenal at what he does.
still looking for his iconic slave role, not this one.
So Resident Evil is actually good. Is
I
what
think
you
if-
two are.
What I've told people, I think, is if you can kind of suspend what you've learned from Resident Evil games and kind of think of this in its own light, it is a unique and interesting story. It starts off very slow. You don't like most of the characters to start, but over time, like as things get established, it just gets more intense in terms of the relationships between each of them. I mean, there's a scene in that last episode that I was like, what's going to happen here? And then I was like, oh shit. Where she shoots her son. That was I did not see that one coming. I was like, oh, he's gonna make a deal with her to help cure him, and she just shoots him in the head.
I was expecting that would be a case, when one of the character's sons gets bitten. I was expecting that what they would do there would be like, inject him with this, that, whatever, and then we would get a tyrant, or some kind of like nemesis-looking eyeball monster, whatever.
Right.
The route that they took of just not kill him was very abrupt.
Yeah. And
no stakes to fuck, like shit's going down.
Yeah, that last episode was phenomenal. Like just so many things happen that like the fucking crocodile, the mutated size of a goddamn oil tanker crocodile. That shit was dope.
So stuff like that, cool. Like reminiscent of like the giant fish monster thing from like Resident Evil 4. There's a giant caterpillar in the first episode and stuff that they really understand where they come from, and seek to build on that, and it just evoked a lot of the original Resident Evil. What I enjoy about that franchise.
Mm-hmm.
No punching boulders though. That's a shame.
Well, that'll come in season 2. Maybe. Because what I've heard a lot of people say is like, because they named it Resident Evil, a lot of people walk in with Resident Evil expectations. But if they name this something else, like some other, zombie type, whatever name, it maybe would have been received differently. Because then you wouldn't have those preconceived Resident Evil notions.
I think that's been the problem with a lot of the reboots that haven't been received well, is you walk in with these preconceived notions of like, I've played all of these games, I know the history, and then this just doesn't feel right to me or whatever. I think that if it was like, I don't know, they renamed it something and it was the Z virus and it was like kind of like hints to Resident Evil, maybe people would have received it a little better, given it more of a chance.
It's like the gamer version of, it's not like that in the book.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of that mentality to it of like,
druids can't turn into owlbears.
Not even get started on it's like, even starting up and seeing Albert Wesker as a family man, the head of like research, working on this project for a new drug that's meant to help like make people happier in their lives and stuff. Even that is such a stark juxtaposition between the Albert Wesker with the close crew cut full leather outfit kind of thing. Like from the get-go, if someone's like, oh man, Albert Wesker is going to be evil as all hell, and it's just like, oh no, he's a nice guy. Even like that is probably enough to throw some dissonance in for people.
Well, there's even a little bit of a reference to the ruthless Wesker.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because
I don't really want to spoil that, because that was
it's fun. It keeps you guessing. They keep throwing twists, throwing developments.
Yeah, where everything you think you knew, they don't really follow perfectly, and I'm sure that'll be probably part of why people don't receive it as well. As it's like, well, that's not how it happened in the games or in any of the other media. It's definitely very different, and that's probably by design. And so hopefully, I can see why GameSpot and IGN rated it well. And I can also see why some people would not like it. I think, but if you give it a chance, there is a story there. There is something to it that's interesting. And it's not perfect Resident Evil, but my wife just said, if you can handle complete dumb bitch behavior from the main characters, it's great.
There are some peak like moments of horror movie of like, well, clearly I've been bitten by a monster dog in a facility that my father runs, and now we've found secret evidence that the government and this company are controlling shit. How about I ask my hacker friend to do something instead of asking my dad? There's definitely like a lot of those, well, this would be solved if XYZ moments. But
Right.
You got to suspend that. I think your wife was very correct there, Rut. Lots of dumb bitch moments.
Yeah, a lot of them you're just like, what the fuck are you doing? Ugh.
Okay, my final question for you guys: this or Halo? What made the jump to TV better?
I think this did. And I say that as a genuine fan of the games and as someone who also enjoyed the Halo TV show. I think this was better because it wasn't as much of a dissonant step. Because like Halo was fun, Halo was not Halo. Halo, you could palette swap that very easily.
There was
and
a
I wouldn't be
lot
able
less
to
that was
tell.
memorable with Halo.
Yeah,
I think that this series did a better job establishing the characters and the relationships between those characters and why certain things matter, where Halo just kind of feels like, let's just go crazy and see what sticks. It definitely, for me, and I loved Halo. I really enjoyed it. It was a fun watch, like Stretch said, if you can kind of suspend your belief and suspend what you know about Halo. This one just gripped me a little bit better in terms of story and like actually wondering. Like I don't know what to think of what season 2 of Halo is going to be. I'm actively wondering what season 2 of Resident Evil is going to be. Like there's enough there that they kind of left as a cliffhanger at the end that I'm very curious what that next step is. And we just know that season 2 of Halo is going to probably just be Master Chief being a dumb bitch again. So
Okay.
dumb bitches
All
all
right, maybe.
around.
Dumb bitches all around.
Because yeah, I've only seen the first episode, and I do have to say that did not leave the strongest impression. Like I picked up some of the plot threads they were leaving, and then I was like, well, I don't really care.
It was episode 3 that started to hook me in.
Yeah.
Like
1 and
1 was
2
fine,
were
2
rough.
was fine, but yeah, 3 was where it began to hook, and 5 is the one that had like the fun puzzle elements that I think was a really fantastically done.
And it's 8 episodes?
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. So it's not crazy long. The episodes are like an hour and 20 minutes each, but so are the new Orville episodes. So I think that's kind of a direction a lot of people you can tell better stories in hour and 20 minute episodes than you can in a 45-minute.
Yeah, for sure. Do you have any thoughts? I know you're a rabid fan of both of the TV shows. Just wanted to give you any.
Not
any
a single word of
moment to say
that
your
sold
piece.
me on anything. It still sounds fucking awful. The idea of hand waving away people making really fucking dumb decisions, unless the person has been pre-established as being really fucking stupid.
No, but that's
sucks.
just horror movies
Yeah,
in
that's
general.
why horror movies
true.
fucking suck. Like that's just bad writing. It's contrivance. It's awful. I'm not a fan of that. Contrivance for contrivance's sake is stupid. You can write it.
So
you can write cleverly.
Did you think that the giant eagles should have just flown the hobbits to
No,
to Mount
I'm
Doom?
not. You're not gonna get me. Not getting me on that one. No, nothing about it has sold me. It sounds bad. I mean, it's and the fact that all the TV critics are shitting on it, which like universally almost give everybody fucking 100% on Rotten Tomatoes or something, is not a good sign either to me. It's like so easy to make them happy.
Do you think they're going to do that with the Lord of the Rings show? Maybe.
I think Lord of the Rings show's gonna be bad, but
Yeah, I'm a little worried about it.
I'll be sad.
The D&D movie looks dope.
D&D movie looks
A little worried.
looks the right amount of
Looks
stupid,
fun.
and it knows that it's stupid.
Yeah,
Although-
well, for me, it's like D&D is not meant to be serious. You know, when you get together with your friends around the table to play D&D, you're in for a stupid night, and that movie looks like it's going for that.
It definitely looks like it's going for that. It's the same thing as like Vox Machina, where it's just like a party of heroes making stupid decisions over and over again, which is like
forward.
my brand of D&D. But I mean, for Rings of Power, it could be interesting. Like Amazon's done some pretty interesting original series lately. I'll be curious. Like the Reacher show was pretty good. So I mean, maybe we'll get lucky and we'll get something good. Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. Not after Wheel of
Maybe
Time.
we should
Isn't
start
the Hobbit trilogy?
Maybe we should start a spin-off TV show podcast.
We really should.
Nerdy TV shows. Yeah, because there's a fuck ton of those.
Stretch and
coming out.
Rutledge agree, and Otten and Scrappy think they're idiots.
Most are bad.
That would be the
Here's a hot take: The Witcher show's bad. Anyway, see you guys next week.
Should we? And subscribe to our Patreon where we go into that for another hour.
We really should just do like an entire episode of just shooting the shit about specific TV series.
I kind of agreed. It's kind of mid. So that does it for this week's episode of the TechRaptor Podcast. We hope you enjoyed. And if you did, please feel free to leave a review on whatever platform you're listening on and share it with a friend if you would also like to laugh at our hot takes. And leave a comment down below. Did you finish the Resident Evil Netflix series? Do you agree with Stretch and Rut, or do you feel differently? Let's just leave it at that. Let us know down below, either on YouTube or on our site. If you want more news, reviews, and features and all of that good stuff, we publish those every day at TechRaptor.net. And if you want more of this show, we will be back next Monday. I'll see you then.